This is Michael Popok, Legal AF. This might sound like a broken record, but Rudy Giuliani is in trouble again with the court system, having failed to appear for a court-mandated ordered hearing in a federal court in New York today related to a suit against Donald Trump for civil damages related to the injury to 8 Capitol police officers on Jan 6 caused by the insurrection and the riot that resulted. Remember Donald Trump? Donald Trump's the guy that said recently that no one was injured on Jan 6th. Well, they'll be playing that tape against him in his trial that is going to be pending before Judge Maida in the District of Columbia. And they're going to drag along the plaintiff's lawyers, kicking and screaming, Rudy Giuliani, who has once again flouted an order of the court and refused to appear. Now, this sounds like a broken record because Rudy Giuliani has done this before. He failed to appear frequently in the bankruptcy proceeding, his own bankruptcy proceeding that he filed in the same court in the Southern District of New York before Judge Lane, and had to be sanctioned and reprimanded a number of times. Eventually, the bankruptcy filing was dismissed. He also failed to appear for his own disbarment proceedings that happened a couple of years ago in New York. And as a result, he was disbarred in New York. He refused to participate in that proceeding. He also refused to turn over discovery when ordered, just like now, in the Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss defamation case against Rudy Giuliani that led to a $180 million judgment running with interest. That's what caused him to go run to bankruptcy court. So this is a new habit for Rudy Giuliani. Now, for those that don't remember, before Rudy Giuliani started circling the drain of history, he was once a reasonably respected mayor, and before that, the U.S. attorney for the Southern District of New York, the very court where he's now thumbing his nose at judges like Judge Edgardo Ramos. Judge Ramos, appointed by Judge Obama, served for many, many years with respect and distinction, both in the U.S. Attorney's Office, not under Rudy, but in the same U.S. Attorney's Office, and worked for a major commercial law firm that I know well. And Judge Ramos is not having any of it. He ordered Rudy Giuliani to appear in his courtroom at 10 a.m. That time came and went without the appearance of Rudy Giuliani. Let me read to you from the motion or the letter that was written to the judge by the lawyers representing the 8 police officers. And let me say their name just to reinforce again for those that somehow think Donald Trump ever tells the truth. There were injured people on January 6th. There were 7 or 8 people who died as a result of Jan 6th and Donald Trump's actions, including Capitol Police, including those that took their own life. These are the Capitol Police that I'm talking about. There's a number of cases, all similar, that are going on before Judge Maida. Some brought by Metro Police, some brought by Capitol Police, and some brought by the estate of Brian Sicknick, who died from a heart attack and other injuries that he suffered on Jan 6th. These Capitol Police officers are Conrad Smith, Danny McElroy, Byron Evans, Governor Latson, that's the person's name, Melissa Marshall, Michael Fortune, Jason DeRoche, and Reginald Cleveland, also known as the plaintiffs in that case. And they are suing not Giuliani, but Trump. So all Giuliani had to do was to comply with the subpoena. Now, first, he dodged the subpoena, right? They tried 4 times in Florida, where he has a condo near Mar-a-Lago, twice in New York, and they finally nailed him in New York on April the 26th, 2024. He had to respond by May. That came and went, requiring this motion to compel. Here's what they said, the lawyers for the 8 injured police officers suing Donald Trump. Plaintiffs are 8 U.S. Capitol Police officers who served and were injured on Jan 6th. 7 months later, they brought the underlying action in the District of Columbia against several defendants for conspiring to carry out and carrying out the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol and precipitating events, including the Save America rally on the same date. That would be on the Ellipse. Plaintiffs allege that Giuliani, a former attorney associated with defendants Trump and Trump for President Incorporated, his campaign, was heavily involved in core aspects of the actions underlying the claims. Plaintiffs allege that with awareness of Donald Trump's strategy to overturn the election results, Mr. Giuliani and other co-conspirators actively participated in spreading Trump's false claims of election fraud, including by filing baseless lawsuits challenging the election results. Mr. Giuliani was also a featured speaker at the Save America rally on the Ellipse that led to the fomenting of that violence and the attack on the Capitol. As we age, balancing our social life with next day responsibilities becomes trickier. That's why I'm thrilled to have discovered ZBiotics Pre-Alcohol, a game-changing product for responsible adults who enjoy a drink but have plans the next day. ZBiotics Pre-Alcohol is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. Invented by PhD scientists, it's designed to address rough mornings after drinking. Here's the science. When you drink, alcohol creates a toxic byproduct in your gut. This byproduct, not dehydration, is what makes you feel rough the next day. Pre-alcohol ZBiotic produces an enzyme that breaks down this byproduct. Just make ZBiotics your first drink of the night. Enjoy responsibly, and you're set for a better tomorrow. Since I started using pre-alcohol before social events, I've noticed a significant improvement. After a night out with friends, I wake up feeling refreshed and ready for my day. Whether I have an important business meeting or a family outing, I can approach my day with confidence. Vacations, weddings, birthdays, and reunions, there's so much going on. Get the most out of your summer plans by stocking up on ZBiotic Pre-Alcohol now. Go to zbiotics.com/legalaf to get 15% off your first order when you use LegalAF at checkout. Pre-Alcohol ZBiotics is backed with a 100% money-back guarantee, so if you're not satisfied for any reason, they'll refund your money. No questions asked. Remember to head to zbiotics.com/legalaf and use the code LegalAF at checkout for 15% off. Thank you, ZBiotics, for sponsoring this episode and our good times. He also was, as we know, inside the Willard Hotel nearby, which was the headquarters or the war room staffed by Steve Bannon, Rudy Giuliani, Michael Flynn, and others who in real time were coordinating events on the ground that led to the attack on the Capitol and the injury to these 8. So Rudy Giuliani knows why he's there. He's a proper subject of the subpoena, and the judge gave him the courtesy of having a status conference, which he failed to appear in front of. Now, he'll try to claim, I don't have the money, I don't have the time, but could you imagine Rudy Giuliani as a former officer of the court? I know he's lost all of his bar licenses, but he was once a member in good standing in the DC bar, in the New York bar, no longer, both now suspended or disbarred. Can you imagine Rudy Giuliani as a lawyer trying to get away with that? He'd be found in contempt. And I think that's what's going to happen here. We're going to get an order soon from Judge Ramos that I'll report on, who will say that he's ordering the immediate production of the documents and appearance by Rudy Giuliani. This is not yet for deposition or sworn testimony under oath. This is just for documents. So they want, so they're going to want next a motion for sanctions. They're going to want him to pay for the attorney's fees required for this, and give him, 3 or 4 or 5 days to respond, and maybe even a deposition now under oath. The judge, I think, is going to order some version of that. And if he doesn't show for any of that, then the judge can ratchet it up from civil contempt to criminal contempt. And Rudy Giuliani could end up in jail as a result of this. That's how much power a federal judge has, especially federally, if a person is found to be in contempt of court and flouting the orders of the court. This is now an order of the court. A subpoena is ultimately an order of the court. But this new motion and the resulting order will be also. We'll follow it right here in the MeidasTouch network. And this fall, it won't say grace, this complete fall through the rings of hell for Rudy Giuliani. He's just become a disgrace. I'm a bar member of a number of states. I practice in the Southern District of New York. I'll say it out loud. It's a disgrace to the bar that he ever was a part of that bar. And the fact that he just completely flouts all the orders of federal judges in DC, in the Southern District, then complains about orders against him for contempt, blaming other people, is unacceptable. And by saying unacceptable, I don't want to accept it. So I want to call it out and talk about it here. Only on the MeidasTouch network and on Legal AF. We sit at the intersection of law and politics, so you don't have to on the MeidasTouch network. Join me every Wednesday and Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern time right here. If you like to watch your podcast being recorded, this is the place to do it. You can do it there, and you can live chat with us, the hosts. Wednesdays, Karen Friedman-McNifilo joins me. Saturdays, Ben Meiselas does. So until my next hot take, and Legal AF. You can leave a comment here and a thumbs up. We are building the network MeidasTouch with our bare hands. To paraphrase the great Michelle Obama, do something. Free subscribe to the MeidasTouch network and help us get to 3 million free subscribers before the election, before Labor Day, as we move towards and continue to promote the surge of Kamala Harris towards making history and entering the White House. So until my next hot take, until my next Legal AF, this is Michael Popok reporting. Heary, heary, Legal AF Law Breakdown is now in session. Go beyond the headlines and get a deep dive into the important legal concepts you need to know and we discuss every day on Legal AF. Exclusive content you won't find anywhere else, all for the price of a couple of cups of coffee. Join us at patreon.com/legalaf. That's patreon.com/legalaf.